Our story begins with this guy, Franco Naraval, who got a little thirsty during recess, so he bought some juice. Little does he know that with this seemingly insignificant purchase, he starts a complex chain reaction, which will be explained in due course. Until then, on with the story, with his money. After buying the juice, his money goes to the Better You Juice Company at the office of Mr. J. Business is booming, and now that it's the end of the day at work, he decides to give the workers their income. One of these workers is Mr. Brand, who, at the sight of his envelope of income, immediately buys a ticket to go to Japan. The money then goes to the CBA Travel Company, which decides to distribute dividends to its shareholders. Mr. Olsen is one of these shareholders, who, after getting the money, could have gotten us some shoes or guitar lessons, but in the end, he buys an apartment, which he pays for with the money, along with savings and loans from the bank. While Mr. Olsen enjoys his new apartment, let's follow his money to the bank. The people in the bank will eventually get their pay. Paul, the IT guy, is one of these people, and he uses the money to buy the latest computers for the staff. Paul's money goes to Drive Computers, which could have built a new factory, given pay to its workers, but it instead, like everyone else, pays its taxes. Anyway, through the taxes, the government decides to build a public hospital and employs the work of Dr. Carl, who, after getting his pay, buys his wife a hat. The money goes to hat company manager Mrs. Violet, who buys her son some candy. And then the candy company gives its income to packaging guy James, who buys some tools from Mr. Naraval's shop. And yes, that's the dad of the guy who started this whole thing, yeah, him. Franco's money has gone full circle. And this isn't just mere coincidence. That is simply how the economy works. What do I mean by this? Well, in the story, you could see that there was some sort of pattern or cycle. Someone would buy something, the money would go to the companies would distribute money to some other entities, and then these entities would start it all over again by buying something else. Again and again. Spending, production, income, spending, production, income. It never changes. And we can put a name to this thing that's constant, that always happens in the economy, this cycle that I've been rambling about. This is called the circular flow.
To further understand this concept, let's check out each individual stage.
Ooh. Spending, when you purchase goods using money.
Income. This is the pay given to workers in exchange of their labor.
Production, the process of creating a new product.
Now that we know what the spending stage is, let's find out where we saw the spending stage in the story. Well, it was the spending stage that started it all, when Franco bought the juice. Another example is when the government spent to make a hospital. In both examples, an entity gave a form of payment to another in exchange for a good or service. Now, what about the production stage? The production stage can be observed when Paul, the IT guy's money to buy the computers, traveled to the computer company where 1. The goods are manufactured, and 2. Where the workers get their pay. As long as we see the creation of goods and the development of services, we can be sure that we are in the production stage. And lastly, the income stage. In the story, income is presented in many forms. When Mr. Brand gets his pay from the juice company, he gets his income from working in the company. When the shareholder Mr. Olsen receives his dividend from the CBA Travel Company, he also receives money. Lastly, when Drive Computers decides to distribute its money, it pays its taxes to the government. The government gets its budget from these taxes. Income is not limited to the pay that the worker gets. As long as another entity gets money from the production stage, it's classified as income in the circular flow. These are just the basic parts of the circular flow. The basic cycle of spending, production, and income can be seen in your day to day life. It's inescapable. This just comes to show how the economy is a system and not just a random jumble of choices that make a person lucky or unlucky in prospering in life. The economy is a machine that keeps our world moving and growing, and we, the people, are the ones that drive it.